One of my friends, Hannah, freaked me out one time. We were driving along when she turned to me and said, "Hey, outside from when we see each other, how do you know I exist?" What? She had a point though. The people you are sitting next to right now, after they applaud me and all the other wonderful performers and go home, do they still exist? Think about a dream. They can feel pretty long, like a few days, weeks even, when in reality we were only asleep for a few hours. So here's this. When we die, our brain continues activity up to 10 minutes after our heart stops. Nobody really knows what happens in those 10 minutes. So this is my question. Is this, right now, sitting in this room, watching somebody you love do something they love, your final 10 minutes? Is this the dream your brain is projecting one last time to ease you into what comes after death? First, I want to ask a few questions, and know that I 100% respect whatever you believe in after death. I am just helping you explore alternative possibilities. So first, how do you know you're awake? How do you know this is real? Well, usually it's a tough question. We have things to comfort us instead, like heaven, reincarnation, Valhalla. It's just a lot to unpack. I was never much of a religious person. My parents let me choose my own religious path, and I thank them because I found many things with this. I hopped onto the belief of heaven until about the age of 12, when I started questioning everything. It terrified me because that belief of heaven began to fade, and all I had left after death was nothingness. I'd get questions in middle school like, "Don't you believe in anything after this? Doesn't it scare you?" And I was like, "Oh shit, they're right, that's really scary." So I turned to the most reliable, academic, non-biased source I knew, the internet. After many Tumblr posts, Reddit threads, and existential TikToks, I stumbled upon a philosophy that caught my eye: simulations and multiverses. And I know a lot of you just rolled your eyes at me. I was the same way. I refuse to believe that we're in some kind of a larger version of Sims 4. But with more research into the topic, it became intriguing and very believable. For my next set of questions, I want to kind of twist your brain, put you in the right mindset. So right now, you realize that you're blinking. You're breathing manually. Your tongue is sitting awkwardly in your mouth. Are you leaning back in your chair? Are you sitting up in your chair? Are you tense? Loosen up a bit. Your clothes are touching your flesh. Your jaw has weight, and all you can think about is having to hold it up. And did you know that every time you swallow, you hear a crackle? Now that I've made you aware of all of these bodily functions, I am going to present to you some facts and conspiracies I found in my research. So, did you know that scientists still have yet to find any proof of consciousness? There's no certain hormone, no electrical connection proving why we are awake. Which leads me back around to my first question. Are we awake? How did we, by some crazy miracle, end up being just far enough away from this constantly exploding ball of fire to not burn up and die, yet also just close enough to this trillion-year-old flaming sky, or to grow papayas? It's as if we're the only planet to end up in this orbital sweet spot. And that's just a coincidence? What if this perfect scenario isn't real, but rather fabricated? An Oxford philosopher, Nick Bostrom, once said, "If we are living in a simulation, then the cosmos we are observing are just a tiny piece of the totality of physical existence." That same philosopher is working with scientists to form a simulation to recreate our perfect papaya-growing planet. The weirdest part? We have the power to make the people, the AI, within that simulation believe that they are alive and conscious just like us. How long has it been?
9 minutes!
Only 1 minute left. Now, I know a lot of you will go back to your original beliefs and ignore everything I have just said, but my hope is the next time you're sitting around with your family talking about what comes next, you realize that you're blinking a little too much. Or maybe you bite into a ripe papaya, that you ask yourself, am I awake right now? Is this all real? Are you in a coma and this is all an elaborate dream? Am I dying? If now is all you have, how long is now? It has been 10 minutes. Is this the end? Woo!